welcome back to the Cinderella Phenomenon. So, we are in the end game for the Rumple route, and we've been kidnapped and are being held prisoner in the palace by Mithros until we can revive Hildur from the dead. So, 2 days pass. I've been searching for ways out and trying to... So, 2 days pass. I've been searching for ways out and trying to ease more answers out of Varg and Mithros. Neither of them is very forthcoming. Both enjoy speaking in riddles. Varg especially is an enigma. Whenever I try to ask him about Fritz, he smirks at me and remains silent. What? Not going to try asking me any questions tonight? I'm not going to get any answers from Varg, and it is almost my birthday. I need to find a way out of here. I'm disappointed. You're the only fun I have in here, Princess. Maybe if I'm quiet, he'll leave me alone. If you're just going to be quiet and sulk, I guess I should be going. Aha! All according to plan! All according to Keikaku. Remember, don't try anything funny. There are knights just outside your door. Varg bows mockingly. He leans down to pat me on the head before he turns and leaves. I cannot give up. I once again begin my search through the room. Time is running out, and there is nothing that I can do besides search for a way out. But I know that if I leave the room, the knights will catch me immediately. If I had a weapon, I might stand a chance. I put my fingers to my neck and remember what Chevalier told me about it. Sleep. It's Delora! Karma has arrived! The sound from outside my door. The sound comes from outside my door. It is a woman's voice. The door opens and suddenly, Chevalier and Delora are both in my room. Princess! I'm startled to see Chevalier standing before me, his eyebrows drawn over his eyes with great worry, and beside him stands Delora with her arms crossed, as always. Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? We're here to stage a daring rescue. I rush to Chevalier and wrap my arms around him. He puts a hand on the small of my back and smiles down at me. We're going to get you out of here, Princess. How did you both get in here? With the power of magic! Dramatic, even at a time like this, says the one with the most dramatic voice. The two exchange a look before looking at me seriously. Parfait, Waltz, the Knights, and Karma are all here. We thought we'd just be fighting witches, though. We weren't expecting the Knights. No matter what we said, we couldn't get through to them. They're under a spell. Mithros. He wants to release Mother. Both of them look at me with confusion. What? Mother is still alive, just inside the Tenenbaum. Mithros wants to bring her back. That is impossible. The Queen is still alive? Chevalier looks worried, while Delora's expression is more rigid and resolute. We cannot let that happen. I don't know how the Queen would be alive in the first place, but, well, we'll worry about that later. Right. We still have time to discuss the specifics of everything, but right now we need to get out of here. Right. Everyone is keeping the guards and witches busy for you, Princess. I'll distract Mithros. Chevalier, I'm counting on you to get the princess to safety. That's why I'm here. Princess, can you guide me through the palace? I cannot just leave everyone here. Don't worry, Garland is seeing to saving your family. No, I cannot just leave everyone in the Marchen here to do things for me. Lucette, we cannot afford to lose you. I told you I would do anything to protect you, and I will. The sooner you are safe, the sooner we'll have the advantage. You are the illegitimate heir to the throne, and the next Tenenbaum bearer. You cannot let yourself remain in Mithros's hands. The solution is indeed most dire. For now, we must hurry. I nod my head feebly. Without another word, the three of us head toward the door. Delora exits first and stops immediately. I almost run into her. I glance through the doorway and see Varg waiting just outside, holding a blade across Delora's neck. Delora holds up her hand and deflects the sword as it slides harmlessly past her neck. Varg slides away, still holding out his sword. His usual smirk is half-hearted at best. Get out of our way. You're awfully demanding, aren't you? Pretty please? No can do, my lady. Shame. Looks like I'll have to destroy that pretty mask of yours, along with everything else underneath. Delora holds up her hand and summons a wall of electric orbs. With a flick of her wrist, she sends them rushing towards Varg, who dodges with surprising speed. Varg's movements appear sluggish, but I have seen his fast reflexes. He is playing with Delora, even though I do not think he has the advantage. He drops the sword, and for a few moments I feel Delora has the advantage. Then suddenly, he raises the cane he usually holds at his side and taps it on the ground. A burst of smoke escapes from the bottom of it, shrouding the room. An enchanted cane? You're not the only one with tricks up your sleeve. Delora! Chevalier, get her out of here! Let's go, princess. Chevalier takes my hand in his and begins to lead me away. I turn to glance back at Delora and Varg, and realize that while Delora is completely on the offensive, Varg does nothing but dodge. It is as if he's trying to buy time for something. I banish the thought from my head as Chevalier pulls me down the hall. How rude! Haven't you heard of chivalry? I spot Karma still in his dress, holding a sword out at the man in front of him. When the man lunges, Karma dodges back, and grunts as his back comes to the wall. I suppose chivalry is dead then. He steps off to the side as the possessed knight attacks him with his blade. The sword catches his dress, but does not hinder him from stepping forward and aiming a jab with his sword beneath the knight's armor. The knight kneels, but the sword does not fall from his hand. Karma looks up at us sharply. What are you doing just standing there? Move! Ugh. It takes me a moment to realize that, just as I was frozen, so too was Chevalier. His face is pale as he grabs my hand again and once again starts rushing me down the other end of the hall. Chevalier's steps are wider than mine, and I have to struggle to keep up. But the further we go down the hallway, the more apparent it becomes that there are too many obstacles in the way. We pass Jurian and Garland as we move too, and they manage to clear a path for us. These knights. Will they not stop moving until Mithros is defeated? I hope the king and everyone else is safe. As we pass Jurian and Garland, I tell them where the royal family is, but I have no way of knowing if the words reach their ears amidst all the sound. Chevalier? So the stab wounds in the armor I saw earlier were from the knights themselves. But why would they battle each other? What? The punctures in the armor we saw at the clinic, the stab wounds in the gut and at the arms. Chevalier's eyes are so distant. It's as if he's looking right through me. They were. We need to keep moving. I take his hand and lead him forward. I do not know what he is talking about, but we can talk about this later. Right now we have to escape. We are closer to the palace entrance when we see them. A group of knights stand in two lines on both sides of the hall, facing each other. At the far end of the hallway stands a gaggle of witches, and in between them, Mithros. Good evening. Did you enjoy your stroll around the palace? Chevalier immediately moves to stand in front of me. The cloudiness is gone from his eyes. But what leaves his mouth is not a demand, but a question. How could you do this? How? It was quite easy, actually. You know what I mean. Why would you make the knights fight one another? What a foolish question. Obviously, it is because they are inconsequential. On a stage, some pawns exist as easily replaceable extras. I am interested in keeping only the actors. In the grand scheme of things, the extras aren't needed. In fact, I can make them do whatever I need in order to get the best outcome. He snaps his fingers and the knights raise their swords. I tense, thinking that the knights are going to turn to us, but they never do. Here is an interlude for you to enjoy. The knights are attacking each other? The sound of metal ringing against metal fills the air. The knight's swords arch, dive, and stab. Mithras watches from behind them, the sly smile never leaving his lips. The two of us can only stand there, stunned into silence. It isn't long before we can see red. The smell of blood begins to linger in the air as swords cut through flesh. Abruptly, I snap to my senses. I attempt to move forward, but Chevalier remains firmly grounded. Chevalier! I heard many things about the doctor working at the clinics. I heard that he was a volunteer who had assisted in helping the injured during the Great War. I also heard that, until just recently, he had been cursed. I knew immediately upon seeing you that you were that volunteer. I suppose it is unavoidable that you and the princess know each other, but to think that you would be so close. Chevalier just stares blankly ahead. He looks almost like he is under a spell. His eyes are glazed. I continue to call his name. His eyes follow the sword movements of the knights, and he does not even spare me a glance. Have I unraveled the doctor? I am spooked. What is happening? Unraveled. Why? Chevalier, snap out of it. Ah, just look at all these men you cannot save. All of these men dying before your eyes. Chevalier, we have to get away from here. How many people have you really saved? In the grand scheme of things, you have no talent. That is why you sought help from a witch. Mithros's voice is oddly calm, and I can feel some sort of presence in the air that is different from normal. A knight plunges a sword through another's gut, causing him to lose his sword. The sword skitters across the floor, gleaming underneath the moonlight. I look desperately at Chevalier and realize that the magic is already working its way into him. He does not see anyone except for Mithros, who is still smiling at him from behind all the knights. I slowly inch backwards, making a show of looking at Chevalier. Neither Mithros nor Chevalier seem to see me. I will protect you, Chevalier. I will do whatever it takes, even if I have to kill someone. I pluck the sword from the ground and grasp it at the hilt. It feels heavy in my hand, but I ignore the weight. I rush down the hallway with the sword, weaving my way to the side so that I am out of the way of the knights fighting each other. I look squarely at Mithros, and then suddenly, Chevalier's eyes flicker to me, only momentarily, but enough for me to know that he is no longer looking at Mithros in a daze. I turn back and see Chevalier, rubbing his hand across his eyes. Mithros snaps his fingers, and two of the fighting knights turn and rush toward me. Oh dear. The knights manage to back me into a corner of the wall. I hold the blade out as they bear down on me and close my eyes. Because I haven't received fighting lessons in this lifetime. My hands shake on the hilt, but I stand resolute, ready for the blow. But it does not come. Moments before the knights raise their swords, I am aware of breath on my cheek and beautiful violet eyes staring into my own. Lucette! Do they actually kill him? But the words end in a gasp as a blade is buried deep into Chevalier's chest. His words fade as his hands slide down either side of me. He slumps and his head falls to my shoulder. Did I get the bad end? Seriously? No! A raw sound escapes my throat as I feel the warmth leave Chevalier's body. Chevalier! I scream his name and he looks up, but his eyes do not see me. They are somewhere far away. Mithros pulls Chevalier's body down to the ground, where it falls with a terrible thud. Inconsequential. I am deaf to Mithros' words. I slump down beside Chevalier, my hands reaching for his. His eyes are still open, but the light in them is gone. Did he fucking die? Did I get the bad end? Tears stream down my face. I cannot breathe. I cannot hear my heart. Everything is quiet and dark. Chevalier! Now that the obstacle is gone, you have nothing left, Princess. Mithros's hands reach for me. I attempt to lift the sword, but he knocks it easily out of my hands. Are you truly the Queen's daughter? The Queen never cried. She was the strongest woman I knew. I cannot breathe and cannot stifle the sobs escaping my throat. She taught me that sentimentality was nothing to value, that it would only make you weak. I assumed you knew that too, Princess. But I was wrong. It will be a good thing when the Queen is back on the throne. The weak do not win. He snaps his fingers and the witches congregate around me. Now, we shall use you to bait the fairy, and then everyone else will fall. I will unravel this effort at its heart. He nudges Chevalier's body. I look down at Chevalier's ashen face and sob. I let the tears gather in my eyes until I cannot see anything. Nothing matters anymore. The fuck?! I thought I was doing so well! Shit, dude! Now I'm upset! Oh no! Oh no! Ah! What do I do? I got the bad end! Oh no! I thought I was gonna get the good end. I didn't. Did I really do that badly? How many points does it take to get the bad end? Oh no. Okay. So, for my own satisfaction, above all, I'm gonna stop recording for right now. I'm gonna go back, and I'm not gonna take you guys through all the correct answers. I'm just going to use a walkthrough, get through the rest of the game, get back to that point, and get the good end, because I want to see how that plays out. There are secrets to be found, and I want to know. I want his picture up there with the diamond where that's supposed to be. Anyways, now I am also tempted to see what the other bad ends are, cause shit, dude, I fully did not expect him to die. Okay. Anyways, I will be seeing you guys in the next one, so bye-bye.